Kelly, and today we are talking about teen trafficking. So don't go away, we'll be right back. To another episode of The Teen Scene. I'm here with Brooke Burghardt. So Brooke, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a senior at Mercy High School, and I am a senior member of the dance troupe and of the Macaulay Club.
Wow, that's very nice. So tell us about human trafficking.
Human trafficking is pretty much where men and women, but mostly women, are forced to go into this cycle of human trafficking where they have to sell their bodies and forced into slavery, which is not what you would expect for a teenager or even a middle-aged woman or man. So.
Wow, I mean, I've heard of a lot about these teen trafficking around the world, and some of them, it can happen to anyone.
Yes, definitely.
Like, you have to be careful where you are and where you go. I mean, there could be some random stranger, either you're going to your car or just going and walking down your neighbor's house. There could be someone that can take you away from life.
Yeah, and that's very true. It's, you just have to be aware of what's around you because, a lot of people do think, oh, that's never going to happen to me, I'm safe, like, I know this, I know that, but that's not always the case, and you do have to be careful about, where you are and who you're around because you just never know. Even if it's someone who you think you can trust, you just have to be very aware, and, that I would say that's the most important thing that you have to do.
You always have to stay safe in where you go. Well, a lot of teen trafficking are different from other countries. Some of them, in other countries you can sell girls or women there.
Yeah, in other countries it is a lot different than the United States, even though it does still happen here. But in other countries there are girls at the age, like, smallest of 9 years old, which it's hard to hear and, actually believe that, a girl might have to be sold by her father or her family, or a girl of 15 years old might have to be forced into marriage, and then, we don't know what happens after that because, they could be raped, they could be, forced to do whoever they were sold to, what they want to do to make them feel like they have all the control. And when I actually went to the United Nations last week, and there was a side event that I attended, and it was on the topic of human trafficking, and a lady actually asked the question to the panel who was giving out the information, and she said, what about the people who, escape from their family and their husband, who actually go and find a place, of where they supposedly seek, safety. And she said there was a case in Syria, I believe it was, where, the women thought that it was this big refugee house, and when she got there, she realized it was supposed to be a refugee house, but then within the refugee house, the women who went there were actually then sold to fund the refugee house, which was somewhere you thought you would be safe, but she wasn't, and she was then sold into the, cycle of human trafficking where it could possibly continue to happen.
Yeah. We're here talking about teen trafficking, so stay tuned. we're here talking about teen trafficking. So, what are some, where the most countries have been, in this teen trafficking?
I feel that, it obviously happens everywhere, but the main place where it does happen is places that are in underdeveloped countries and third world countries where, they don't have all of the resources that, other developed countries have, but I mean, it still happens in the developed countries where you wouldn't think it happens, but it's scary to know that wherever you are, that you could be sold or I could be sold just to help our families. It's just a scary thought.
Yes, it is. What are some of the ages that teen trafficking starts?
Well, in underdeveloped countries, it probably starts at the age of 5, and it can go on throughout your whole entire life because there's not an ending point because it can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any place, at any given time, and that person can still be traumatized. I mean, obviously, a young, innocent child who has no idea what human trafficking really is going to be traumatized probably much more than a middle-aged woman, but I mean, that middle-aged woman is still a human being and still is going to be traumatized by that event, and it's just going to be running through her mind. I just can't imagine having that happen to you and then having that in the back of your mind. What if it would happen to me again? Like, you're scarred. You would just go through a whole trauma process.
I mean, I have a little sister and a little brother, and I always have to watch out for them when they're on the streets because anything could happen any given time. You have to watch out for the little kids and yourself at the same time. And if some stranger comes, towards you, you don't know what to do.
Right.
So that's what, I'm usually scared when I'm by myself in the streets because, anything could happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Usually with my sister, I bought her this little charm bracelet, but it has little bells on it, so you can easily tell where my sister is because you can hear bells ringing.
Oh, that's such a good, but that's, things like that to make awareness, it's helping you making it safer for your little sister and brother that where they are, and you feel better about yourself that if something if something were approaching that if you heard her bracelet, you would know exactly where she was.
Exactly. There are some things where even if you have little kids or you have your friend who's with you, you can always have something like a charm bracelet or a little button that has an alarm on it. Anything could help you to be safe.
Yeah.
So what can us teenagers do something about teen trafficking?
Well, at my school, Mercy High School, I was actually asked to attend a leadership conference 2 summers ago, and we went to a Mercy College in Pennsylvania where we were taught about the subject of human trafficking and how to raise awareness and to find possible solutions to girls being trafficked. So our school decided to have a campaign called the 50-50 Challenge, and that was our goal for that year, and which was to raise $50 scholarships for 50 million girls, which is a lot. But we were working with 9 other Mercy schools, and we raised money from each of our schools, and then we we combined all our money and we raised about $20,000, which was really good. So we sent a decent amount of girls to school, and in our community we had a Zumba class where each girl paid $5 to come to Zumba, and we had a concert in our gym, and we had a mixer, and other people from different schools came just to raise funds for this cause.
Wow, that's very... Well, we'll be right back, so don't go away. Welcome back. So I hear you have an amazing experience.
Yeah, I recently just won the Girls Going Great contest, which I had to submit an essay with all of the things that I'm doing in my community and global community to, you know, raise awareness for this cause of human trafficking. So I decided to write about human trafficking and the leadership conference that I attended, and Macaulay Club, which is a club at my school, and my local community, and my school community, and even the global community. And I decided to write about the topic of human trafficking and my service in Macaulay Club and my participation as a field day dance captain at my school. So they're all different leadership roles that I have played in at my school, and so yeah.
Wow. That's very great for you. What are some advice, like, if teens want to get involved in their school, if their school doesn't have, you know, these organizations?
That's a very good question, and I think that a lot more needs to be done within elementary schools that gets this awareness out to young girls and boys, because, you know, it can happen to anybody, and you know, I don't know of a whole lot of programs that actually do address the topic of human trafficking in schools of elementary and middle school and even high school. I didn't learn of the subject of human trafficking until, you know, my sophomore year at Mercy High School, and it's an eye-opening, you know, topic that you just don't think about and don't realize what can happen and who it does happen to, what they have to go through.
Yeah. Well, we'll be right back, so don't go away. And our special guest that's coming on the show is Ann Quasman. Hi, and welcome back to the Teen Scene. I'm here with Ann Quasman. So, Ms. Quasman, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm actually the host of a radio show called WomanTalk Live, and I come on every Saturday night at 6 p.m. on Talk Radio 680 WCBM right here in Baltimore, and going into our 7th year now. And the show is called WomanTalk Live because I talk about topics and issues that are important to women, and I say to the men that care about women. and I hope it's a lot of them.
So what are some of the main topics you talk about?
Well, just everything. You know, somebody says, how do you decide on your topics? And I think it's because of what I'm interested in. And so when you're the host, you get to do that. You kind of get to pick out what you want to talk about. So I've talked with people from all over our nation that are writers or authors or activists in some way, as well as local women. And but because of social media, and I know you know what I'm talking about, with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and everything that's going on, and podcasting, that our radio show has a much bigger audience than just the Baltimore and Maryland area. And so when I try to, when I do shows, I try to pick out shows that would be interesting to women no matter where they are listening from, even if it's about a local activity here in Maryland.
Wow. So we know that Brooke is here because she was involved with your radio show. How was all this set up in a way?
Well, the way it's set up is I have a contest every year, and it's for juniors or seniors in high school in the state of Maryland, and it's called the Girls Gone Great contest. And it's Girls Gone Great because it's not Girls Gone Wild. It's girls doing great things and making a difference in the world. And I'm interested in knowing about it, and so are my listeners. And so it's a scholarship contest. Brooke will be getting a $3,000 scholarship that's donated by the WCBM, as well as Raskin Global, which is a financial firm, and the Baltimore Power Group, which is a group of women in the commercial real estate industry. And so they are funding her scholarship because they believe in Girls Gone Great. And so every year I just send out the call and I say, you know, tell me what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why it makes a difference to you.
That's amazing. I mean, I've heard of like a lot of organizations that help girls have gone, you know, scholarships to any school they want to go. How do girls that wants to get involved in this Girls Gone Great contest?
How they find out about it? And well, they can go to my website, which is WomanTalkLive.com, and right on the front page of the website there's an icon that says Girls Gone Great, and if they click on that, right now what they'll see is Brooke. They'll see her. They'll see Brooke, and they'll see all about her and her bio, as well as her winning essay. And then they can scroll down and see the 5 Girls Gone Great that have come before her. But every fall, usually by the 1st of October, I send out the call, and all of the information will be on my website about that year's call. And so we'll do the 2014 Girl Gone Great, probably around October 1st, and they have to get their essay into me by December 31st. And then I spend 3 months reading them.
It's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
So what are some of the submissions you have read about your contest?
Well, I got 328 essays sent to me this year. Wow. And so, you know, that's a big signal, because it lets me know that there are lots of young women out there that are making a huge difference in their community. And everybody had something different that they were interested in, and something that was their passion and their mission. And Brooke's just happened to be human trafficking and the education of young girls to prevent that cycle of continuing human trafficking. But there, you know, were other great essays too. A lot, though, functioned around or focused on the education of young girls all over the world.
Yes. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories about in other countries that girls right now don't have education. Only the men do. And, you know, as being girl power, we have the chance to change the world.
Absolutely. And you know who, a person that, a young woman that we want to keep an eye on is the young woman that the Taliban had shot, a young woman from Pakistan, Malala. And her story that was so incredible of how important education is to her, and her healing, and her coming out and talking on camera about her mission. And we're going to hear a lot more from her, don't you think?
I think we will. I think she's doing great in the room. Yeah. So, Brooke, tell us about your experience with the contest and the radio.
Well, one day after school, I got a phone call from a number that I didn't recognize, and usually, you know, I don't pick it up. I'm like, if it's important, they'll leave a voicemail, but for some reason, I was just like, I should pick it up, and I just had a lot going on that week. It was a busy week, and, you know, I had a headache, and it was just not a good day, and then I I pick up the phone, and it was Miss Quasman, and she goes, "Is this Brooke? It's Miss Quasman." And I was like, "Hi, how are you?" And she was like, "I just want to let you know that, you were our 2013 winner." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like, I just was like, "Thank you." Like, I didn't know what to say because it was just like so shocking. Like, I didn't expect that phone call to be, you won. And I told her, I was like, "You got rid of my headache." And she was like, "I don't know if I can do that." But
well, it's so funny because my husband tells me the exact opposite.
So what's the criteria for your contest?
Well, the criteria for the contest, for the Girls Gone Great contest, the real focus is on how the young woman is giving back in her community and how she's making a difference in the world. Because I think that's what we we focus on academics a lot, which are important, but it's also the person is important also. And so I asked them, what are you doing right now to make a difference in the world? And the second question is, why is that important to you? And then the third question is, how do you plan on carrying that into your vision of the future? And it's always amazing to me what I'm able to read and find out from young women.
How do you feel when you read these essays?
I am given all sorts of hope. Because I think our media bombards us with girls that aren't going great.
Yes.
And that's what we see on the news all the time. That's what's going through everything. And that it's really, really wonderful for us to let people know that there are young people out there that are doing great things and that the future is very bright if we focus on the people that are making a difference.
Yes, that's one of the big problems in the society is that women get sidetracked and first they say, "Oh, I want to do great in the world, I want to be successful," but then some other problems come in their life and they can't do it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was interested when I talked with, Brooke was, what makes you stay involved in this? She said when she went to her conference in Pennsylvania, the Mercy Leadership Conference, that this was her mission. She found her mission and her passion in life. So, how do you keep that going to where it's not just a flavor of the month?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Until something else exciting comes along.
Exactly. I mean, even because what I want to do in the world when I grow up is I want to be an actress and a model. But then there's also some opportunities that come in that are exciting, but then I'm like, no, I have to stay focused on what I love to do and what I believe in.
And so where do you want to take that? I don't mean to turn around and be interviewing you. That's my habit. That's what I'm used to doing too. And so where do you, with actress and modeling, where do you see yourself going?
I see myself going, well, when I grow up, I want to go to college at Juilliard. And then once I go to Juilliard, I want to go to LA and I want to start doing films and TV work and have a bunch of awards. And that's what I see myself doing, is being on TV, having a talk show. Because right now I'm hosting, and I have a producer now. It's my own show. And right now I'm talking about the business, about modeling and acting, and how you can be involved with modeling and acting. So that's
what a great role model you are. And you're going to be another one of those young women that I say, I knew her when. She interviewed me.
Well, this has been a wonderful episode, and I'm here with these two beautiful, amazing ladies that have done good in the world. So we'll see you next time on Teens Are Talking. Bye!